My name is Andrew Fitzmaurice. I'm the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Templar Executives, and we are a cybersecurity company, so all aspects of cyber are of intense interest to myself and my team. Well, our current top priorities, and given the geopolitical situation at the moment, are primarily supporting the government in a lot of its overseas activities. And internally to the UK, we are really concentrating on spreading best practice around governance. We find that the governance issue, which has been a subject of this symposium, is one of the areas that we tend to be weakest in. Very good at innovation, we're very good at manufacturing, but actually maintaining governance to reduce risk is one of the key areas that we specialize in and is actually needed at the moment. When we think about cyber leadership roles, the recent DCIT stats which came out and actually formed part of the introductory process to this symposium really do highlight that we haven't actually come as far as we thought we would do in terms of leadership. A lot of our cyber leaders aren't yet board members, but sit just below that. There's still a need and acceptance by boards that this is a business enabling topic rather than just a security one. So despite in 2022, when we dropped the words security from our national cybersecurity strategy, people still haven't really worked out that cyber is around business enabling to reduce your risk while maximizing the outputs of your organization. I think in 5 years from now, many leaders will be grappling with quantum. I think that will now, by then, become a reality. It already is, but it's just not cost effective. But I think there'll be some leap forwards in technology so that individuals can actually have quantum computers. And when that happens, there will be lots of worries about the cryptography element to that, as well as the ability of quantum computers to reveal all secrets around the world. So I think that's going to be one of the major things in 5 years. I also think that AI, it's very much in its infancy and has been described today as it being in its beta mode. I do think that will be far more sophisticated. And I think it's going to be up to humanity almost to guard itself against perhaps some of the more, which seems fanciful, but actually are quite credible outcomes from reliance and the innovation around AI. The Cyber Leadership Symposium is really important, and it's really important to us for two reasons. The first reason, of course, is that Templar is one of the co-sponsors and deliverers upon the Cyber Executive MBA, where we try and prepare those either in the C-suite or knocking on the door suite to actually understand the cyber agenda and make it effective within their own organizations. Secondly, actually being a cyber leader, as many have commented, is quite a lonely place. So it's really good to get cyber leaders together in an environment, and Chatham House, where they can literally discuss the problems and realize that many of their peers are also grappling with the same problems. And so that exchange of ideas, the presentations have all shown that, it's a really great information exchange, which is highly valued by all those who attend. What makes a cyber leader good to be able to sort of both safeguard their organization but also innovate and bring in new ideas is really down to core leadership qualities. It's interesting, and many people will have commented that actually being a good cyber leader is actually about being a good leader first and then adopting the cyber agenda and promoting that within their organizations. One of the things that we find and we see a lot of is that the accountability and responsibility that people are given to manage the cyber agenda often lacks the authority. And without the authority to make that change and to bring in transformation and agility, unfortunately many organizations will fail not only to safeguard their organizations, but also not innovate. So the alignment of those three core designs, I suppose, through letters of delegation and governance is absolutely key to the success of organizations. And without that, without the alignment of responsibility, accountability and authority, then organizations will fail to grasp and grip the cyber agenda. We've been talking today about the complexity that people need to navigate. I've got some very firm beliefs around that and what cyber leaders should be doing. I think primarily the areas of complexity are those which our adversaries are exploiting. And they tend to be not so much now around the individual measures that organizations have done to protect themselves, although there's always work to be done there. And we always talk about keeping that risk reduction curve as low as possible, as it being a board level agenda all the time, every single month. But actually, where we're finding the bad guys are getting in is often in the ecosystem that goes to support that organization, and primarily in contracts. So contracts between the prime organization and some of the larger supporting organizations. And what I mean by complexity, well, a contract's a legal document, of course. It doesn't necessarily cover all the elements of cyber that you would want it to cover. And obviously, these organizations exchange information, and how that is done appropriately, how the safeguards are put in, how you can actually feedback key performance indicators of how well that's going, how the information is treated once it leaves your barrier and goes into your supplier. For instance, do they then send it out to subcontractors? And it could be a man sitting in a shed working on a Windows 7 machine. And actually, from the public sector, primarily, all the major breaches of the last 3 or 4 years have been through the supply chain. So I think that just bears out that the complex areas, which tend to be around the interfaces of information exchange, are the key targets by hostile nation states and serious organized crime. If I wanted one thing for all cyber leaders to know about, what would that one thing be? Well, that's a really interesting question. The Cyber Executive MBA, of course, because that then allows them to get on and get the tools, the understanding, talk with peers, and literally that is a 2-year mentoring program with some of the brightest and best minds in this country on cyber, aiding and moving their own cyber journey forward. So I would say that, wouldn't I? But I do thoroughly actually believe it. So get yourself on the Cyber Executive MBA.